For pretty much as long as there have been war and been great battles, there have been stories of supernatural interference on the battlefield. In the sixth chapter of 2 Kings, both the Bible and the Torah talk about how God sent down an army of angels, including chariots of fire, to protect the prophet Elisha. Notorious warrior and conqueror Attila the Hun tried to invade Rome with his massive army, but turned around after encountering two angels who said they would kill him if he proceeded to conquer Rome. Even George Washington reported that an angelic encounter during his time at Valley Forge, which gave him a vision of the future of the United States. However, today we're going to talk about arguably the most famous angelic battle, the Angels of Mons. The legend goes as follows. It was just near the beginning of World War I, only a couple months after Archduke Franz Ferdinand had been assassinated. Virtually all of Europe was thrust into war, as competing powers sparked a chain reaction of increasing conflict. On August 2nd, Germany demanded passage through Belgium and launched an attack on France. When Belgium refused, the United Kingdom entered the war in order to protect their allies, and sent a British expeditionary force to go to battle against Germany. Originally, the BEF and their French allies did surprisingly well, even managed to cut off the German army in the city of Mons and actually hold them off. However, things quickly fell apart. The French attacked before they were supposed to, were forced to retreat, and the British ended up being outnumbered 2-1 before they even knew what was happening. Still, the BEF held on, mowing down line after line of German soldiers from the machine gun nest and improvised foxholes. But the German troops just proved to be too many, and eventually overran the British, forcing them to retreat as well. The Germans pursued them every step of the way, through fields and forest. Just as all hope was lost for the British, something that could only be defined as divine intervention occurred. Heavenly angels appeared over the bloody battlefield, encouraging what remained of the British forces to stand and fight for what they believed and defeat the Germans. Suddenly, behind the defending British troops appeared the mystical bowmen of Agincourt, legendary soldiers who had fought for England against the French during the Hundred Years' War, with this divine force being led by none other than St. George himself. This supernatural force went on to inflict massive casualties to the advancing German forces with their bow and arrows, completely annihilating them and winning the battle for the British in the process. This story went on to serve a vital function for the people of Great Britain in World War I, increasing their morale and cementing their resolve that they were on God's side through this long war, and it shouldn't be overlooked for that. But what exactly happened here? Did spiritual forces actually appear, save the British, and kill a German soldier in the Battle of Mons? Not exactly. In fact, there isn't a single first-hand encounter of a supernatural force appearing during this battle. And while there are second or third-hand sources that came out well after the fact, and actually got some key facts wrong. I saying that the Germans were in trenches, or that the British went on the attack, both of which aren't true. So the story didn't originate with actual soldiers. Where did it come from? Well, for that we gotta go to a theory that's been brought up by plenty of historians before. The story of the bowmen. Seemingly by sheer coincidence, around the same time as the Battle of the Mons occurred, an English author named Arthur Machen wrote a short story called The Bowmen, all about how a phantom English army led by St. George marched from Agincourt in the dark days of 1914 in order to relieve their modern-day counterparts on an unidentified battlefield. The story was published in September 1914 in the London Evening News. Several parish magazines quickly reprinted the story, and from there, as Machen later wrote, the snowball of rumor was set rolling till it was swollen to a monstrous size. Machen also commented that if there was any substance to the Angel of the Mons story, it's unusual that there were no admitted eyewitnesses who presented themselves, and that he believes that his bowmen have become the Angels of the Mons. So how is it possible that this popular supernatural story on the home front gained legitimacy with actual frontline troops, and became possibly the first ever urban myth? Well, look at it this way. A mock journalistic fictional story came out alongside true but sketchy coverage of a battle in a popular newspaper, shedding light on events in France that were raising general anxiety and panic. The stories began to combine via word of mouth, with any inconvenient details changed or left out, until a simplified version of the story is generally believed by most everyone. Then the story enters the army with the new enlistees and take it all the way up to the front line, eventually making its way into the history books. We also now know that individuals and groups of people under great stress and pressure become highly suggestible, and all this can affect people's belief systems. It also doesn't hurt that the vast majority of the English in World War I were already inclined to believe in ghosts, spirits, or angels, especially in the context of battles and wars. I mean, you can trace back the stories of divine intervention all the way back to the 1600s, with stories of dead soldiers continuing to fight alongside the living or horsemen in the sky. Then finally, the English desperately wanted to believe that they were on the right side of this war, the side of light and the angels, that they were serving God in this war. They already believed that the apocalypse and the end times were upon them, that the German Kaiser was in league with demonic forces, and had heard stories of German forces literally crucifying British soldiers upon trees, and the story of the Angels of Mons just cemented in their minds that they were on the side of good. However, just because the story of the Angel of the Mons might not necessarily be true, doesn't mean it's any less important. Today it might seem quaint or silly, a curiosity more than anything else, but that's only because I remove valuable context surrounding it. Basically, all folklore and myths start out having a practical social use, and the Angels of the Mons served a key role for the people of Great Britain during World War I, raising their morale and steadying their resolve, even through repeated key losses. Just like countless other small stories that make up the bigger picture of history, the story of the Angels of the Mons played a key role in the British life and deserves its place in the history and record of the Great War. So there we have it. Make sure you hit that like button, the subscribe button, turn notifications for more videos just as this one every single week. And I will see you next time.